Thank you so much for coming to join us in this day of celebration. It's been a long fight for justice for Vanessa, and I'm proud to say that we got a bill passed, the President signed it into law, and today our soldiers are protected with freedoms, rights, protections that they never had before. It was because of this great family, the Guillen family, that fought for justice. Our plight for justice was a great ending. We lost Vanessa, but we gained rights for our military and our service members. About a year ago, we were here asking the city of Houston to help us fight for justice, help us get justice for Vanessa. And everyone showed up and everyone was part of this fight. And a lot of people always forget to say thank you after fighting. But we're here to say thank you. We're here to say thank you to the city of Houston. Thank you to Tillman Fertitta for hosting us. You know, one of the things is we couldn't have done it without everyone's support. But given this forum that he provided us to us many times. I'm not from Houston. I'm from Tampa. We have Brady, but you have Tillman Fertitta. You know, and I got to tell you, he's a great guy. He's a great community leader. And I'm very fortunate to not only represent Vanessa's family, but also to have this justice in your hometown. And I don't want to take too much of your time because I know we have speakers lined up. But again, thank you, Tillman Fertitta. Thank you, City of Houston, for being part of this victory, this epic accomplishment to get a law passed. Like they say, it's an act of God or an act of Congress, and we got an act of Congress passed, which is incredible, and thank you. First person I'm going to invite up here is Art Acevedo. You all know him, so he can speak from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Quam. And Natalie, you know, she's not going to take credit, but it takes great advocacy, it takes a community, it takes a village, and in this nation it takes a great voice, and you have been a phenomenal advocate, and I want to say thank you to you, but I want to also say to the family, on behalf of the victims that will not be victims, thank you for turning your pain. Gracias, mamá, papá, la hermana, la familia, por tomar el dolor y tomar ese dolor en acción y acciones que gracias a el amor de su familia de Vanessa van a haber menos víctimas. Y cuando una mujer, una soldada que es una víctima va a poder reportar sin temor y va a poder tener justicia. And now what I just said in Spanish, and I'm going to step down, is that the love of a mother, the pain of a mother, a father, sisters and brother and a family, and the support of a community and the advocacy of a great lawyer led to this moment. And I think that we should all celebrate the fact that this family didn't let their immigration status stop them from seeking justice, didn't let their lack of knowledge of the language, the English language, stop them from seeking justice. And as a result of these people you see up here, we are going to see fewer victims and we're going to see enhanced justice. So thank you to Tillman Fertitta, who steps up. He's a friend and he's really a community leader that was going to be here. Just he got tied up on a matter. But if you remember, he's not just helping this family. He just gave $1 million to the Houston Police Department for victims and to get leads on these violent criminals. And lastly, I want to introduce John Whitmire, Senator Whitmire, who's the Dean of the Senate, the Chairman of the Criminal Justice Committee here in the state of Texas, and a man that actually fights for justice, and he wanted to be here today on behalf of the family and all of our elected officials that really came and stepped up in this matter to say a few words. Thank you all, and congratulations. Felicidades, mamá, papá, y adelante, que aquí estamos juntos con mucho más fuerza. Felicidades.
Thank you, Art. And I am here today to thank the family and the team that is represented here today to turn a tragic event into an act that's going to protect thousands of future abuse cases. This could not happen without the leadership of the family, to be fighters the team, Attorney Quam, Art Acevedo, our congressional delegation, Sylvia Garcia, and so many people played a role. Unfortunately, tragedy like this happened, but this is a demonstration that Vanessa will not be forgotten. And we need to encourage other victims to come forward, and we will give them the support. I know you will give them the support that they so badly needed. So thank everyone that played an active role, and let's go forward and carry the fight for future victims. Thank you.
Oh, it's not. I need to admit them.
What is the mouse? Is this a good monitor? Is he up?
There's a small photograph.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Senator, do you see us?
Yeah, I can see you. How you all doing?
Okay. Okay. Senator, you can go ahead.
I'm sorry?
You can go ahead and start.
You want to go and start the conference?
Yes.
Okay, will do. Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cesar Blanco, and I'm the Texas State Senator for District 29 and the author of the Texas State Vanessa Guillen Act. I'm honored to join the Guillen family, the family attorney Natalie Kawam, and fellow lawmakers to celebrate the passage of the federal I Am Vanessa Guillen bill and the Texas Vanessa Guillen Act, honoring the legacy of Specialist Vanessa Guillen by combating sexual that's in our armed forces. Although we're here to celebrate the passage of these two bills, we do so with a heavy heart because our military failed Vanessa, and it cost her her life, and it cost her family a lifetime of memories and joy. So this should have never have happened. But because of the love, courage, the tenacity of the Guillen family, mountains were moved to honor Vanessa. And justice and change were demanded, not just for her, but for all victims and all survivors of military sexual assault. And without their efforts, we really would not be here today. As a veteran who served in our armed forces, I understand the culture that fails to protect our women and our men from sexual assault and harassment in the military. And the tragic circumstances surrounding Specialist Vanessa Guillen's disappearance and her untimely death shed light on how the system fails to protect our heroes. On her own base, a place where Vanessa should have felt safest, she lived in fear. And Vanessa shared with family and friends that but she was too scared to report it because of the culture and because of retaliation. And Vanessa's story, I think, exemplifies the unacceptable pervasiveness of sexual assault in the military. But her legacy is one that it will continue to move our country forward. And 2 years ago, I made a promise to the Guillen family when we went to Fort Hood that we would keep fighting to address the lack of justice for sexual assault victims in the military, and pledged to file the Vanessa Guillen Act in the Texas legislature. Now, although the Texas legislature does not have jurisdiction over the United States military, Texas has the largest state military force that is often federalized. And by enacting state laws to protect our Texas soldiers, I think that we lead by example, and we became a model for other states and really for the country. And during the 87th regular session, this last session, I authored and passed Senate Bill 623, which is the Vanessa Guillen Act, to really to uphold my promise and to ensure Texas soldiers are protected and that they're provided justice. Now, the bill will do a number of things to protect soldiers. It'll require the Texas Military Department to hire a designated sexual assault response coordinator that's outside of the chain of command to be an advocate and a resource for victims. It provides reporting options outside of the chain of command, which is important, through the Sexual Assault Response Coordinator, known as the SARC. And the bill requires independent criminal investigations for sexual assault outside, once again, of the chain of command, to be headed by the Texas Rangers in Texas. The bill also provides for the expedited issuance of a temporary ex parte protective orders to victims of military sexual assault. And it requires an annual report from the Texas Military Department to constantly assess and improve sexual assault prevention in the Texas military forces. Look, this landmark legislation was passed unanimously by both chambers in the Texas legislature, and it was signed into law by the governor last June, ensuring that there's justice for our heroes and putting a stop to the culture of harassment, the culture of assault and retaliation in our state military forces. And thanks to the determination of the federal lawmakers such as Congresswoman Gloria Garcia, my Congresswoman Veronica Escobar, Congresswoman Speier, Congressman Mullin, Senator Schumer in the Senate and others, the federal I Am Vanessa Guillen Act passed the National Defense Authorization Act last month with new protections and rights for soldiers, victims, and survivors taking effect this month. You know, nothing is going to be able to bring Vanessa back, and no bill can ever replace her, but we can honor and remember her by supporting survivors and by preventing future tragedies. And I hope the passage of the State Vanessa Guillen Act and the federal I Am Vanessa Guillen bill provides some small degree of healing to the Guillen family and to all survivors of military sexual assault. I, among many dedicated lawmakers, soldiers, and survivors who fought to pass these bills, we're going to keep working to create a safer military culture and to ensure that no one feels unsafe in their place of work. So I want to thank all of you who made the Vanessa Guillen Act as well as the I Am Vanessa Guillen bill possible. There's a lot of people who played a role here. I want to say God bless our troops, God bless our great nation, and God bless Vanessa and the entire Guillen family. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank
Next
you.
up, we're going to have Chair of the House Armed Services Committee, Congressman Adam Smith. No, Smith. Yeah, from Washington State.
Hello, Adam.
Hi, Congressman. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, great.
Okay. You can go ahead.
It's all yours.
I'm sorry, you're waiting for me?
Yes, it's all yours, Congressman.
Oh, I apologize. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity, and thanks for pulling this together. But more than anything, thank you for your tireless work on behalf of this legislation. I mean, you really made this possible. We've met many times. I know you were back in Washington, D.C. You worked very closely with Congresswoman Speier, as well as Senator Gillibrand and many others. And I guess my message is pretty short and simple besides thank you, which is I believe this is an incredibly important step in adequately addressing sexual assault within the military, but I also believe that there is a lot more that needs to be done. To begin with, the implementation of this is going to be crucial. I mean, this gives us the ability to charge and prosecute, as you know, all sex crimes as well as serious crimes, murder, manslaughter, and kidnapping, in addition to all crimes against children and also any crime related to sex offenses. It's a huge step to set up the special prosecutors unit within the Pentagon. We have to keep the pressure on the Pentagon, first of all, to make sure they implement this, put it in place, and then second of all, once it's implemented and put in place, I think it gives victim advocates a place to go to be heard, but we're going to have to make sure we do that, to make sure the special prosecutor listens and other victims, to make sure that their voices are heard, because as you well know, a huge part of the problem here is victims of sexual assault within the military do not feel safe to come forward and talk about it. They do not feel like the command structure in the military will support them, and they rightfully fear that they will face retributions, either from the command or from their fellow service people. That is the culture that we need to change. I think this law certainly gives us the opportunity to better do that, but more work needs to be done. So I just want to close by saying thank you again to the Guillen family, all of your supporters. You were tireless and relentless in advancing this. It's something people have been talking about for better than a decade. this past year we got it done, and that wasn't an accident. So thank you, and you honor your sister's memory by your relentless fight for justice. Affect all people.
Congressman, thank you so much. You know, we couldn't have done this without you. You're the chair of the committee, and your support through this whole process is just, you know, we're honored. We're honored and we're grateful. And you know, it was a fight, and you know, we heard about decades people have been trying to fight this, and you as a chairman you got it done, and we appreciate everything you've done, and especially on behalf of my clients, they want to say thank you too.
Yes, that's right. Thank you so much, Congressman Adam Smith. Like Natalie mentioned, you're the chairman, and you know, it means a lot to us to see your support and your continuous work and advocacy in favor of my sister and all the victims of sexual misconduct.
Again, I just want to really thank Congresswoman Speier on our side and on our committee. She's been a champion for years and terrific to work with.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much. We'll let you go. We know you have a lot more work on your plate. Take care.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll definitely stay in touch and keep working together.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, and now we're going to have Senator Reid.
Hi, I'm Jack Reed, and I want to add my thanks to the Guillen family. And
Is it the
to Natalie for their tireless, unwavering advocacy to enact historic reform. I did not have the privilege of personally knowing Vanessa Guillen, but like millions of people, I've learned so much about her, and Myra really brought her story home for me, sharing fond memories of her sister. I know Vanessa was a highly principled young woman with a strong moral compass and a sense of purpose. Vanessa was someone who lived the values she swore an oath to defend. Vanessa was going places. Her killer robbed her of that future, robbed her family of a beloved daughter and sister, robbed her fellow soldiers of a valued and trusted teammate. But while Vanessa's life was cut short, her legacy will live on. Again, thanks to Myra, Lupe, and the entire Guillen family and extended family. Vanessa became a catalyst for change. She helped us enact historic reforms to how the military investigates and prosecutes sexual assault and other offenses. Thanks to Vanessa, there will be fewer victims of sexual assault, and it will be easier for people who are assaulted to have their voices heard and to get fair, impartial justice. I appreciate everyone who helped pass this law. It is a major victory and will lead to lasting changes in the military justice system. This law is a major step forward, but it won't be the last. We must continue to focus on this issue and work to ensure the law is effective. We have to tackle this issue from every angle and continue working to change the culture of how the military and society prevents and handles sexual misconduct. We owe it to Vanessa and her fellow soldiers and to future generations to do better, and together we are keeping that promise in making historic change a reality.
Okay, and now I'll be reading a statement by Congresswoman Jackie Speier. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here today, but she did send a statement for us to read out loud. The House Senate Defense Bill, which passed Congress, it has now been signed by President Biden. This delivers historic reform to the military justice system and finally listens to what survivors and advocates have said all along. We are taking sexual assault, domestic violence, and murder out of the chain of command. This is a monumental improvement, the likes of which we have not seen since the Uniform Code of Military Justice was created in 1950. It would not have happened were it not for the spirit of Specialist Vanessa Guillen and the Guillen family, and all those who have galvanized to fight for change in Vanessa's honor. It's been over a decade since I introduced the STOP Act, the first legislation to take sexual assault out the chain of command. When I started, I had little to no support. Military leadership opposed it. Very few Democrats supported me, but by reading accounts of military personnel, women and men who had been sexually assaulted on the floor of the House, the military did not give them justice, but we could at least hear their stories and acknowledge their pain, suffering that they should never have experienced for signing up to serve their country. Now, more than 10 years later, and the problem is as bad as ever. 20,000 service members are sexually assaulted every year. 100,000 are sexually harassed. Very few, about 600, are court-martialed for sexual assault, and of those, only about 200 are convicted. That includes Vanessa, who was sexually harassed and whose leadership was informed about it, yet they did nothing. Her brutal murder, however, turned one of too many moments of pain and loss into an unstoppable movement for change and accountability. Thanks to the tireless work of her parents, Rogelio and Gloria, and her sisters, Mayra and Lupe, as well as their family's attorney, Natalie Kuam, and all those who refused to act, finally had to act. Finally, the Secretary of Defense, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the President agree that independent military attorneys should make prosecution decisions for sexual victim crimes. And finally, we have a bipartisan majority in Congress that is willing to act. Last year, we could not even get a simple pilot program into the NDAA. But this past year, both the House and Senate defense bills included key provisions of the bill named for Vanessa. This transformative military justice reform moves prosecutorial decisions from commanders to independent military attorneys, ensures that the panel members who serve like a jury are picked using random, not handpicked by commanders, and finally guarantees that independent trained personnel investigative reports of sexual harassment. We can and must do more. Service members must be able to file claims when the military is negligent in their response to sexual harassment and sexual assault. When the military failed Richard Stayskull by neglecting to properly read his test and inform him of cancer diagnosis until it had reached stage 4, Congress was finally able to create a claim system for medical malpractice, claims that had no recourse because of the FARIS. That system is finally beginning to process claims. We must expand this compensation system to service members who have experienced sexual violence, but the changes we have made are unprecedented, and they are a testament to Vanessa, who dreamed of nothing more than fighting for her country, and all those who have fought for Vanessa's memory and legacy. Okay, and now we'll have a video by Congressman Mullin.
I'm Congressman Mullin from the great state of Oklahoma, and I was honored to be able to work on the Vanessa Guillen Act. You know, it's tragic that this was even needed, but it was such an honor too, because not only did we make serious changes to the way the military addresses sexual assault and sexual harassment, but I had the great privilege of meeting the Guillen family. What a strong family. A family that went through such a tragic event, They didn't just take their licks and become silent. They said, no, this has to be changed. And they fought for my daughters. They fought for my sons. They fought for your daughters and your sons that one day may want to serve this great country. And they made changes that will make an impact and make our country and make our military better for it. Thank you to the Guillen family for not quitting, for fighting through. When even people said you couldn't get this done, no wasn't even a possibility in your all's mind. Thank you for allowing me to not just work on it, but get to know the family too. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.
You want to turn the voices on the screen? That was Mark Wayne Mullin, Congressman Mark Wayne Mullin from Oklahoma, who co-championed the bill, the I Am Vanessa Guillen bill, with Congresswoman Jackie Speier. And that statement that Myra just gave, that Congresswoman Jackie Speier wrote, you know, I got to tell you all, Jackie Speier, this is her last year in office, and she was so incredible in fighting for the rights of our military. You heard Chairman Adam Smith talk about that, how she really did step up to the plate, and you know, we're very fortunate to have Jackie champion the Vanessa Guillen bill. And Mark Wayne Mullin was the co-sponsor, co-champion of it. And you know, the whole, just to let everyone understand, this wasn't a Republican or Democratic thing. This is not, you know, Jackie's Democrat, Mark Wayne's Republican. It's not a female gender issue. It has nothing to do with that. This was a bipartisan supported bill that was so important, and it was all about our military and our military's rights. The next person is Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. She sent us a statement for me to read, and it's a statement from Speaker Nancy Pelosi. As Speaker of the House, it is my honor to send immense gratitude of the Congress to the Guillen family, committed advocates, and the Houston community for your vital role in enriching the I Am Vanessa Guillen bill into law. With this new law, our nation takes a proud step forward to confront and combat the epidemic of sexual harassment and assault that has long plagued our armed forces. Nearly 2 years ago, nearly 2 years later, the Congress and our country remain heartbroken and outraged at the murder of U.S. Army Specialist Vanessa Guillen. Our nation also remains in awe of the Guillen family, who with extraordinary courage turned their anguish into action in the fight for justice. Thanks to their determined advocacy, alongside the powerful voices of survivors who stepped forward to share their stories, and the relentless leadership of Congresswoman Jackie Speier, Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia, and the House Armed Services Committee Chairman Adam Smith, will help countless of our valiant service members safe from harm. As we acknowledge the importance of this achievement, we must remember that this is but one step toward the justice that Vanessa, as well as every victim and every survivor, so deeply deserve. Today and every day, let us renew our sacred vow to never relent until we have finally, fully put an end to the scourge of sexual harassment and assault in the military, in the workplace, and in every place. Thank you, Speaker Pelosi, for sharing her statements and nice words to this family. And our next speaker is Sylvia Garcia. Is that correct? Okay.
Hello, I'm Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia, representing Texas 29th District right here in Houston. I want to start today by thanking all of you for being here to celebrate the passage of these critical military justice reforms. For many advocates, this has been over a decade in the making, but it was Vanessa, her life and her memory, that made it possible in the end. We started this fight to get justice for Vanessa Guillen over a year and a half ago. It's hard to believe. In that time, we have been heartbroken and angry by the information that has emerged about Vanessa's death. We have been angry at the systems that failed Vanessa and so many like her. And we have been inspired by the incredible courage of her family, leaders, and survivors who have stood up and said, enough is enough. It's time for change. And we have made real change. We're removing commanders from the decision-making process in cases of sexual assault and murder. We are creating a new special prosecutor to make sure these cases are handled fairly and independently. We're also, for the first time, criminalizing sexual harassment in the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And at Fort Hood, Vanessa's leadership, who deeply failed her, has been removed from their positions, ensuring broad change at the base to protect our soldiers. While we'll still have more to do, I am proud of everything we have accomplished to get justice for Vanessa. Thank you all for your courage in this fight. Thank you to the thousands of people from around the country who marched with us for justice. Thank you to the Guillen family. It's been an honor to serve you. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman Sylvia. Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia belongs to our district, and she was one of the first people who we went to ask for help, and she's been with us since day one, so I really want to thank her for everything that she's done for my family. And now we have a video from Gloria Estefan, another one of our big supporters that has been with us since day one as well.
Hi everyone there in Houston, I'm Gloria Estefan, and I really wish I could be there with you to celebrate this amazing passage of the I Am Vanessa Guillen bill and the NDAA. Due to Natalie Kowam and the entire Guillen family, Gloria, I send you my love and a big hug, and to the girls, everyone that has worked so hard to support and get this passed. I thank them deeply, and I thank the family again for having brought their incredibly difficult story of strength to our show, Red Table Talk, the Estefans. We saw some differences after that show came out, and some good things came of it. And I felt incredibly honored and privileged to be a part of that little contribution to this. So congratulations, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Y ahora, para esos que hablan español, soy Gloria Estefan, honrada de estar a través de este video con ustedes hoy allí celebrando que hayan pasado el bill I Am Vanessa Guillen y el NDAA. Es un momento histórico. Gracias a Natalie Kowam, a toda la familia Guillen. Gloria, mi corazón está contigo y te agradezco de nuevo que hayas compartido tu difícil historia para el beneficio de otros. Y Vanessa está cambiando el mundo. Vanessa is changing the world. So she did what she wanted to do. Ella hizo lo que quería hacer. Y le doy las gracias. Thank you everyone that supported this. Gracias a todos que lo apoyaron. Y disfruten este día histórico.
Ponte aquí y tú del otro lado. On this side. On this side. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and speak, and so we could start closing this ceremony. I'm going to have my mom say a couple words. Lo que tú quieras decir en español.
Hola, buenas tardes. Muchas gracias a todos y muchas gracias a mi Padre Dios por darme licencia de estar aquí parada, como lo he dicho siempre, a mi familia, y estamos aquí por honrar la memoria de mi hija Vanessa Guillen, de ese bill que se pasó en honor a ella. Yo le agradezco a Dios porque se llegó a pasar ese bill, pero yo lo que más quiero es que se haga justicia. Que se haga justicia en cuestión de su asesinato, porque yo no estoy tranquila hasta que no vea la verdad. Y mi hija murió, pero murió por salvar más vidas. En ese bill que se ha pasado, se van a proteger muchos jóvenes que están sufriendo y van a salir a la luz más, aún más yo sé, pero ya tienen una ley que los proteja, los cuida, y todo es gracias a esa niña que sufrió tan terrible muerte, que solo ella sabe lo que sufrió. Y yo le agradezco a toda la gente que me ha apoyado, porque todo es una nación entera la que ha apoyado, es un mundo, porque toda la gente apoyó con sus palabras, con su ayuda al Congreso, congresistas, senadores. Yo les agradezco mucho toda su ayuda que nos brindaron, y yo nada más le pido a Dios que nos dé fuerza y salud para seguir adelante, y espero en Dios y haga justicia y sépanos la verdad y realmente los culpables estén tras las rejas, porque la verdad no ha salido, y eso los espera más que yo, todo. Muchísimas gracias, Dios los bendiga, y aquí estamos.
I want to go ahead and thank everyone that was a huge part of this, from the smallest to the biggest task, from the public to congresswomen, congressmen, senators, and of course Natalie, who has been my mentor and has taught me so much and showed me that the best way to honor my sister was through getting history be made in her honor and in her memory. This has been a long 2 years, and we hope to do more work on behalf of more victims and advocates, and hopefully make our military a better place for everyone. I just want to thank everyone. You know, this was done because of you guys and because of all their hard work, and I'll have Natalie take over for now.
Everyone, again, thank you for being part of this incredible change in American history. We're going to be saving so many lives, generations to come, and without the strength, the advocacy, the will that Myra Guillen has, Gloria Guillen has, Roger Guillen has, the whole Guillen family, without the community support of Houston, without everyone's support and prayers, we wouldn't have been able to do this. This was not a small task. It was really, really a long process, but thank God we're all here today to say we did it, we won, and we should all celebrate, not just in Vanessa's honor, but in honor of so many men and women who served our country, who now have the rights and protections they never had. Thank you so much. Take care. Any questions?
Gracias por su coraje.
Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay. Thank you.